Shalom and welcome. This is 2 minutes of Torah. This week, no matter where you go, who do you meet, who do you talk to, what are you reading, probably at some point the Powerball lottery comes to the conversation with a staggering $1.4 billion in as its prize. Millions and millions of people are buying their tickets, dreaming with the things that they will do if they win this incredibly big prize. I have read that many people, actually, including who is speaking here, put our $2 in a ticket, not really thinking on that we can win, really knowing that we won't win. And there are people who are studying and trying to understand why do we still do it. And they come up with the idea that just the idea that we can dream about the things that we'll do with all that money if we won. And by the way, I have great plans to what I will do if I won that money. Is enough to keep us going and putting that bet, even though we know there are no chances. What happens with those situations in which even dreaming about it, is something that is impossible? When the children of Israel came back from exile from Babylon after the destruction of the first temple, they sang and they said in the Psalms, when we came back, it really felt like we were dreaming. Right? We say this every Shabbat and every holiday before Birkat Hamazon. Ainu kecholmim. We were like really in the middle of a dream. We couldn't believe the things that were happening in front of our eyes. I think that the same kind of feeling probably had those who were slaves in Egypt. And in this week, Parashat Bo, we read about them leaving slavery and going into the desert to start their journey towards the promised land. That's why the Torah, even though do not tell us, we don't hear the voices of those living, tell us very specifically that they were in Egypt 430 years. Exactly, that on that particular day, on the anniversary of their coming to Egypt, they left. Probably to let us know that God was behind the entire plan, and that's why things happen in a particular way and on a particular time, on a particular day. But also to give us that feeling that it seems so incredible that this was happening, that those who were living could not believe their own eyes. That's why Torah continues immediately saying it's so important for us to remember every single year that night. That's why until today, in every generation, we sit around the Seder table to remember that night. Because that person who was a slave in Egypt, whose father has been a slave, whose grandfather has been a slave, and so on before them, could not even imagine. They can dream, but they couldn't really imagine that this will happen to them, that actually they can get the ticket, the right numbers, and win that lottery of going to freedom. As we go through this week into this beautiful Shabbat of Shabbat Bo, and after Shabbat to remember Martin Luther King and all what the movement he led represents. Let's think about those dreams that become reality. Let's make sure that we allow ourselves to keep dreaming the most impossible things. Have a great week. Looking forward to seeing you this coming Shabbat.